What's up, guys? So I'm going to talk a little bit about why you should never settle down. And I'm going to sort of debate that topic from a couple different angles. So first off, we live in a time, where it's not the best time for men, right? Just in general, your average man. It's a great time if you're a skilled person. It's a great time if you're a millionaire. It's a great time to become a millionaire, right? It's a great time if you've got capital. It's a great time for fame. It's a great time for, having a long life and prolonging life. It's not as dangerous a world as it used to be, I don't think. Some people might argue that, but I think if you're in the West, you're in America, or you're in, a safe country, I say America because there's a lot of opportunity here, a lot of financial opportunity. But if you're in a safe place, then it's a great time. But when it comes to relationships, it's not a great time, I don't think. I don't think it's a great time to be in a relationship. I don't think it benefits men to be in relationships at this time. I'm not an expert on what it used to be 200 years ago. I don't know. I think it was a different time. I think the culture was different, and culture affects people, I can't say it was a wholesome time, but there were wholesome times in history. I think the 50s and the 60s were wholesome times, right? I think there are cultures that are more wholesome than other cultures, such as, tradcon culture, I think, is a fairly wholesome culture insofar as it, follows family values, follows character values and things like that, right? But in today's day and age, it's just not, unless you're okay with hypergamy, unless you're okay with buying a woman's love, then I don't think that anyone should settle down as far as men goes. I don't think that it's a good institution. And the only way I would even suggest a man to settle down is if she makes as much money as you. If she makes as much money as you, and you're okay with hypergamy, because she's going to still be hypergamous, right? She's not, if you don't make a good amount of money, she's not going to mess with you. If you luck up and you find real love, and you find a girl who really loves you for who you are, and she makes a good wage, and she makes a lot more than you, and she doesn't care that you're a broke dude, then there you go, man. That's your golden ticket, because there's no way she's going to divorce you and take half your shit if you don't have anything to take. But I think that that's probably like 98% not going to happen. Okay? I think that in this day and age, that's not going to happen. I think that that's just not female nature. That's just not quality to a woman. They equate our attractiveness with our ability to provide, with our resources. They equate our attractiveness with our status, our financial and social status. That's just what it is. They want a guy with a house. They want a guy with a car. They want a guy, who can take her on trips and afford kids. And that's what they want. This is their agenda, man. So if you're okay with that, if you're okay with buying into love, if you're okay with, okay, well, you know what? If I didn't have money, she'd be gone, and I understand that, and I'm okay with it. If that's okay with you, then hey, go for it. But for me, that's not something that I could ever abide with. And it took me a long time to recognize that. It took me a long time to recognize that that's what life is. Really. Like all these houses out here, you know, I used to wonder like what all these people do, you know? And there was a time I remember when I was so mad at God and mad at life, I was just driving around like, you know, pointing at houses and saying like, you bless this person, you bless this person, you can't bless me, you know, like. And on the one hand, like, you know, I look at that and I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like, you know, I don't have all that. But then on the other hand, I look at it like, it's kind of a blessing that I don't have all that. Because now I know who's real. Now I know what's real in life. You know, I've got myself, I've got my family, people who really love me unconditionally. And that's it, man. That's all you really got in this world. Because, you see, if you can't provide, she's not going to be there for you, man. That's how you know love isn't real. Take away your resources and she's not going to be there. This is why I don't think men should settle down. That, and then of course, obviously the laws and the system, right, which favor women. The legislation, the court, the whole divorce court, it's all sexist in women's favor. Laws in general are sexist in women's favor. You know, I don't talk about the pussy pass a lot, but that's real. You know, if a woman commits the same crime that a man commits, she's gonna get let off a lot of times, whereas the man gets the full extent, you know, penalty of the law. Our legislation's terrible in favor of women, and these are the same people who make legislation saying, oh yes, you know, everything needs to be about equality. The same people who make that legislation, those laws, are the people who are giving women a slap on the wrist and giving men the full extent of the book, right? That's just evident, man. Women teachers who rape young boys, statutory rape, that's literally the definition of what it is. Underage, you know, having sex with underage students is called statutory rape. They're literally raping young boys, these women, and they don't even call it rape on the headlines of the newspaper or the article or whatever. They call it sex with a minor. It's rape. And when a man does it, they call it rape. Right? So that's the environment that we live in, man. It's gynocentrism. It's just a fact. Women are propped up. Men are just, unless you're in the top 5% of good looks, money, or status, you're nothing. You're entertainment for her. You're just a validation tool. You're just a fan. And she's a celebrity just by breathing. Right? And that leads me to my last point, which is that why you shouldn't settle down is because these women, right, we're already nothing to them. We're already in a position where we have to earn anything from them. Attention. If you're not a 10 as a guy, you might as well be a 0 in these women's eyes, because this is female privilege. This is what gynocentrism has done. Gynocentrism has warped women's minds to thinking that they're so important. And we're talking about women that aren't even 10s. We're talking about women that are, you know, barely pushing a 6, you know, in a lot of cases. Barely pushing a 7, right? Acting like they're God's gift. And in a sense, you want to say, well, you could be God's gift if you were a quality woman, if you weren't a skank. You could be God's gift to one man. If you look at it from a religious standpoint, from a biblical standpoint, one man is supposed to marry one woman, you know, under God's ordination. But we're anything but God's ordination at this point. You know, these women are out here doing the worst. So she's not God's gift. She's Satan's gift to some quote-unquote lucky guy who quote-unquote got lucky with her, when in reality, you know, he's a dude who's got looks, money, or status, or he's got some game, and that's it. And then what is she to him? She's a toy. She's a good fuck. She's a fuck buddy. She's a friends with benefits, and that's it. And that's all she has to offer. And if you're not in that upper echelon of men with looks, money, status, or game, then you're just a nobody to her. So she's trying to make you earn it. And that's the number one reason I think men shouldn't settle, because you're already at a disadvantage. You're already supposed to win her over. And that's where it's all fucked up. That's where the game got fucked up. This ain't no 1940s where, oh, you know, I take you and I court you and woo, 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 and then we get married and we don't even have sex before marriage. It ain't nothing like that. But yet these women still want us to have that same energy. They want us to pick us up, take them on dates, but it's all warped. The whole thing is messed up. It's all backwards. It's not even like it was in those old days.